Alright, Pouring Nation, we're back for another video where we are going to experiment with Blick Titanium White and see if it really is a cloud pour creator or cloud pour cell creator. I had it work. I had done this painting initially. I didn't like the colors a lot, how they mixed, but I got all these cells and it was from the Blick Titanium White. So I want to see if I can't do this same type of pour, control how much white I have, and still get an effect like that. Now I did try a pour after that one, which I really liked. We got some really cool effects with that Blick, and then we got some of the other that we had before I did this here. So I'll link the video that I'm talking about up above and down below in the notes if you want to look at that. But the other thing that we're going to try is I initially started, I used these three colors and I got kind of the muddy colors that you saw in that painting that I showed before. So what I'm doing is I'm replacing the primary red with magenta, and I'm replacing the primary blue with phthalo blue, and then I'm leaving the primary yellow. We're not going to use much of the yellow at all because I want to try a pour that has violet, red violet, and blue-green, and then white. And that's what I'm going to try to make the cells with. So we're going to mix the colors up first, and then we're going to let them sit for a couple of hours so I can get rid of the air bubbles and things, and then do the pour. So the first thing I want to do is make the red violet. I'm going to weigh my red, assuming that I only need a little bit of the phthalo blue to get the red violet. And I'm doing a 10 by 10 square canvas. That's 100 square inches plus 10 square inches for these sides and 10 for that side. So 120 square inches. Divide that by 25, which is just a rough math for an average pour. It means I have to have 5 ounces of paint, which means I need an ounce and a third in each of these, give or take. I'm going to do an ounce and a half. So I want a half an ounce of paint, an ounce of Floetrol, and I've already poured my Floetrol into another cup and strained it, so I got rid of all the little, you can see in there, there's a lot of bigger pieces there, so I got rid of that there. 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and that means I need a half an ounce of paint and an ounce of Floetrol. So the first color we mix, like I said, is going to be the red violet. So we're gonna, and I need a half an ounce, which is about 30 grams. So I'm gonna do the majority. So I did 15 grams of red. I'm gonna do or magenta, not red. I'm going to do 2 or 3 grams of purple. See my little mixing stick here. And interestingly enough, that phthalo has a really strong tinting streaks when it comes. So instead of getting the red violet, I got my violet. So nothing wrong there. I still wanted this color, so we're just going to have this be the violet. So that being the case, now I know I'll do 15. I'm going to do barely. I just want to darken this slightly. Maybe I'll do it this way. Barely any. Just to show you, that's a little bit more of the red violet that we're looking at. So that worked there. And then the other one I wanted to do was blue-green. And blue-green, same thing's going to happen. I'm going to do 15 grams of that, and I'm just going to do maybe 2 grams of the yellow. You don't need very much at all. Alright, this phthalo has very high tinting strength because look, that barely changed the color. So one thing we're going to do, it has just a tiny bit of the Flow Acrylic White, just because I want to lighten it up. Apparently I want to get it all over everywhere too. Just another addition to my apron. So if I lighten this up a little bit, I can see what the color is better. So again, that is a blue-green, but I even want it to be a little lighter, so. Apparently I need a light to shine straight down on this so you guys can see it. But that's more of what I'm looking at. Tiny bit more red, or sorry, red. Tiny bit more yellow. There we go. That's kind of the color I was looking for. So I have 3 really dark colors. They're going to lighten up a little bit with the Floetrol. And then, same thing with white. Need about 1.5 ounces. $18, so it's a little over 1/2 ounce, so I'm going to add 34. It's going to give me to 42. Now the last time I did this, I did not mix the white in enough. I think that's a common problem because it's hard to see that the white is mixed in. You want to mix white, in my opinion, 2 or 3 times than you think you do to make sure that you have it fully integrated. Otherwise you get little pieces of globs of paint that just sit in your canvas and mess everything up. So we don't want anything like that. Now this white is running off the stick, just barely leaving a mound and then going away, which is the exact that's the exact consistency that I'm looking for all of these paints. And I have a feeling I'm going to have to add a little bit more water to these 3 because they're a lot thicker than the white was, but that's what I'm looking for. Same thing, 18, so let's go up to 42. Oh man, or 55. Nice thing is it's not really mixed, so I can just kind of pour this out. All right, did any of you guys catch my horrible math skills? 18 plus 18 is 36. Plus 18 is 54. Take my stick out. Don't worry, I just wasted a little bit of Floetrol. But I think that'll be fine. Which also means this needed to be 54. Luckily it's about the same consistency, so I'm good there. Right, so all my paints are mixed up. These three needed about a half a teaspoon of water ultimately, but that's the consistency that I want. See how it makes a mound and kind of immediately disappears? It doesn't kind of mound up on itself. Or if I do this, you can see it for 2 or 3 seconds and then it goes away. So because I mixed these up quite vigorously, I'm going to leave them for a couple hours and we're going to come back and do the pour. So see you in a few. So one thing that I know I'm going to get asked really quickly is when I leave my paints like this, sometimes I leave the sticks in, sometimes I don't. I'm going to leave the sticks in this time. But I just take a paper towel, get it wet, wring out all the water, and just let this sit on top. And that way they don't dry out, especially on top. So I'll just leave this for a couple hours and we'll be back. For my subscribers, welcome back. For those of you that don't know me, my name's David. I am an analytical person and I take that approach to acrylic paint pouring. These are the type of experiments I do. This is how I learn, and I hope that some of you can learn from this also. So if this is the type of content you want, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when our next videos come out, and if you like the t-shirt, there's a link in the description below also. Otherwise, let's get back to the experiment. Alright, so my paints have sat for about 2 hours. My cloth is just slightly wet still, but I don't have any kind of a film on top, so I know that they've stayed pretty moist and dry. Or not dry, pretty moist. So for my pour, I'm just going to layer the paints in with a little bit of white in between. Now I did do a painting before where I put the paints in and then put the white kind of sparsely on top. But the problem is when you pour the paint out, the white kind of flattens out and you get white bands on the outside but not very much together. So I didn't get very many very many cells, which is what I'm expecting from this. So I'm going to pour all the paint down one side so the white kind of stays together, and when you pour it out, it kind of stays a little bit more together. So here is a close-up. Now, this didn't react quite as well as the glue did, but I actually really like the effect that happened because the white kind of mixed with the rest of them, and it did in some places kind of grow a little bit like the cloud effect does, but not super large like the DecoArt Satin Enamels do. So I really like this as more of a muted version, but this painting is beautiful.